We usually believe only poor people are living from paycheck to paycheck. But the reality is, half of the Americans who earn more than 6 figures are in this situation, which clearly shows income is not the only problem. How well we manage our finance is also a big factor. So in this video I bring you 5 mistakes I identified the middle class and the rich are doing that may be preventing them to get out of this cycle. Let's begin. Living from paycheck to paycheck means that you have little to no savings. That's why you seek the next payday or else you will struggle financially. It also means your expenses are almost as high as your income. And that is why you don't save much money. To get out of this cycle, it's either by spending less or by earning more. However, earning more for many people is not going to solve the problem, because by earning more they will end up spending more as well, and this is the first mistake. At first, they believe if they earn more it will solve all their problems, and they are actually right, if they would keep the same lifestyle. However, when faced with extra money, our natural instinct is to find reasonable reasons to justify spending that money. They can finally upgrade to a bigger house, travel more or simply buy new things. But then they won't be able to save more and therefore will continue living from paycheck to paycheck. Mistake number 2, hasty decisions. We all have that one friend that from time to time finds a new passion and gets so excited that he decides to buy lots of stuff before even begin. I have a friend that a few years ago decided he wanted to create a tech review YouTube channel. So he bought out of the gate an expensive camera, a microphone and items to review. After a handful of videos, he didn't have the success he was expecting and decided to quit. Needless to say, he sold most of the stuff he bought for half the price and ended up with quite a loss. There are moments when we get very excited either because of something we want to start or just because we saw a cool thing we thought we needed. But often, that excitement blocks our rational brain, and we end up buying things we don't need and will barely touch, only to later sell them, give them or accumulate them. A good strategy is to not make decisions when excited and let it sink for a few days. If we really find it useful, then let's buy it. But we will discover that usually you don't want those things, it was just a thing of the moment. The same applies for new passions. If you really like it, just start. Most of the times you don't need fancy stuff to try out. There are plenty of options to rent, reuse or borrow stuff to test how much you will enjoy your new passion. If you really like it and have been doing it for a while, then maybe it's finally time to upgrade. Like a game, we never start with the best gear. We earn it and upgrade it progressively, and that's what makes it even more fun. Mistake number 3, paying yourself last. If you are that person who wishes to save more but usually struggles with it, this one is for you. Consider 2 scenarios. In the first scenario, you receive your salary, you pay your mortgage, you pay for gas, house expenses, dinners, something here and something there, until you notice you have spent almost everything. So you slow down but end up with little to no savings. When we pay others first, we only get what's left for us. Now imagine a different scenario where you decide upfront that you will save 10% of your salary and put it in a savings account. Then you pay for your mortgage, you pay for gas, supermarket and so on. But now, as you have less money in your bank account, you start worrying earlier. You start saying no to eating out or being more selective at the market. When you pay yourself first, you force a change in your behavior to make better decisions on where you spend. This will result in more money saved at the end of the month and hopefully a change in your financial situation in the long run. Mistake number 4, no room for surprises. If I gave you $1,000 right now, where would you spend it? Maybe you could buy something nice for you that you have been wanting for a while, or you can surprise your family with a weekend out. I bet you can find a million ways where to spend it. But how many of you thought on saving it instead? Money is hard to earn, so it is natural that once we have it, our instinct is to spend, and there is nothing wrong with that. However, that may be one of the reasons why you are living from paycheck to paycheck. Let's imagine a scenario where you live from paycheck to paycheck and after 6 months you managed to save $1,000. However, your car just broke, and you need $1,500 to fix it. As you were not expecting this bill, you now have to spend all your savings on it and still have to cut your monthly expenses in $500. When we see no reasons for saving, we will naturally save less than we could. But when unforeseen events happen, it usually is a huge struggle. And unforeseen events happen all the time. Who never had to replace his vacuum cleaner or washing machine? Or who never got a fine for not having subscribed yet? We are never prepared for an extra bill, and when they happen, we regret it. If we knew that we would have to pay $1,500 6 months later, we could have saved a little bit more each month. Let's say $300, instead of being caught by surprise. After 6 months, we would have enough to pay the car bill and still get something left. Now the big question is, how much should we save? Let me know in the comments what is your opinion on the ideal savings amount and why. A good rule of thumb is to know how much we spend each month and have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months worth of our expenses. You should also add an extra 10% of expenses for unpredictability so that you don't get caught by surprise. If you are only now planning to create your emergency fund, make an extra effort in the beginning and you will see how much relief it will be in the future. The more savings, the more options and the less stress you will feel. Mistake number 5. What is inflation? For those who don't know, inflation is a general rise in prices, which means the same amount of money buys less things. As an example, a beer would cost around $3 in the year 2000 and now costs around $4.5. The same things will cost more when there is inflation. So now imagine you earn $5,000 monthly and your average monthly expenses are around $4,500. Next year you will still have the same salary, but because of high inflation your expenses now cost $4,800. You bought exactly the same things, but now it costs more. Our salary should rise as well, but salaries usually take more time to get updated, and that's if you are lucky. So what seems a comfortable position can slowly, year by year, get shorter and shorter. And that's why so many people do not realize how they ended up living from paycheck to paycheck. Don't be surprised and protect yourself from inflation. Have a comfortable savings fund, invest a little bit, and financially educate yourself as much as you can. A useful tip that I would suggest to everyone regardless of your financial situation is to write down your monthly expenses. Every month I fill my Excel with my sources of income and I list all my expenses by category. In the end, I learn how much I'm spending each month and, more important, where I'm spending. It gives visibility to how much I'm saving and where I should be more careful next month if I want to save more. Most people get surprised when they found out how much they are spending. So I totally recommend you to do the exercise and find out by yourself. What you don't measure, you can't improve. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked, consider watching another one. Thank you for watching, see you on the next video.